WrestleMania 42. Whew! What can I say? WrestleMania 42 was truly a weekend full of surprises, historic moments, and yes, new champions. WrestleMania 42 truly lived up to the hype, even in spite of what many people on social media said about the main event of WrestleMania Saturday last night. In spite of everything that transpired over the course of the last year, from last year's WrestleMania till tonight, in spite of all of it, and in spite of what people on social media have said about this card, this year's WrestleMania truly lived up to all the hype, and it is a weekend that we will never forget. We move into the results of WrestleMania Saturday, of both nights of WrestleMania. Excuse me. Kicking things off was WrestleMania Saturday, as the team of LA Knight and the Usos went up against social media icon IShowSpeed, and of course the World Tag Team Champions, the Visions, Logan Paul, and of course Austin Theory. Now we knew that going into this matchup, watching the build up to this match, we knew that IShowSpeed wanted nothing. He wanted nothing to do with the Usos. Excuse me. And LA Knight in this manner. But IShowSpeed brought it upon himself when he was cursed by Danhausen a few weeks ago. That curse was what cost the Usos the World Tag Team titles, which led to last night. Truly was an interesting way to kick off WrestleMania Saturday, but we saw LA Knight pin Austin Theory with the BFT to not only win for his team, but in the process, Logan Paul jumped IShowSpeed, saying that it was Speed's fault that they lost the match, which Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Which we saw LA Knight and the Usos attack the tag team champions, and IShowSpeed hit a frog splash through the announce table from the top of the ring post and celebrating with LA Knight and the Usos. Huge congrats to both the Usos and of course LA Knight for picking up the victory. Maybe this might give the Usos another shot at the World Tag Team titles. Possible? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? We will just have to wait and see. But we move now into the second match of WrestleMania Saturday, which was an unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. And this was as advertised. The last time that WrestleMania had an unsanctioned match was back at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, where we saw excuse me, where we saw Seth Rollins defeat Triple H, thus calling Seth Rollins the Kingslayer. The rivalry between Fatu and McIntyre has escalated over the course of the last year, and it kind of started at WrestleMania, right around the time of WrestleMania last year, when Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight to become the United States Champion, and that escalated to a fatal four-way at Backlash, where McIntyre earned a shot at the title, only for Jacob Fatu to retain the title, thanks in part to JC Mateo, aka Jeff Cobb, who made his debut last year. Since then, both Fatu and McIntyre have been at each other's throats for months and months and months again over the course of the last year. And I find it interesting that this match came about considering that it went even deeper when Jacob Fatu accused Drew McIntyre of jumping him from behind in the backstage area, costing him at least a month of his career, which again buys into the question, was it really Drew McIntyre? Apparently it's all eyes on Cody Rhodes. Apparently many members of the WWE Universe believe that it was Cody Rhodes that jumped Jacob Fatu. Some people believe it, others don't. It's too hard to call. But again, I know I've said it once already, but this match was a little interesting because this matchup favored both Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre because of the fact that Jacob Fatu, we all know of his backstory, how he was locked up behind bars multiple times throughout his life. Drew McIntyre obviously had been in multiple wars throughout his career in WWE, including being inside the Elimination Chamber, being in Money in the Bank ladder matches, street fights, steel cage matches, Hell in a Cell, War Games. He's been through it all, and it favored both men. And this match literally went all over the ringside area, inside the ring, outside the ring. It was chaotic. Drew McIntyre ended up getting a little PTSD when Jacob Fatu introduced the toolbox into the match, which again, PTSD from Drew's match with CM Punk inside Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood a couple of years ago. The irony of that toolbox was that Drew McIntyre this time around, he was able to use it to his advantage by bringing in a wrench into the match, beating Jacob Fatu with it, and this went all over the place. And in the final moments, a mighty moonsault to Drew McIntyre through the table gave Jacob Fatu the victory. Which again, on the post show last night, Jacob Fatu was asked what would be next for what would be next for the Samoan Werewolf, and Jacob Fatu basically said championships. So I think it's pretty safe to say that he does have his eyes on championship gold, but the question is, who does he go after? Does he go after the United States title, or does he go after the WWE title? Maybe we might see him on Raw, and we might see him go after the Intercontinental title. Maybe we might see him go after the World Heavyweight title. There are multiple possibilities, but obviously it is entirely up to Jacob Fatu to decide what will be next for him. Next up was a fatal four-way for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles as Nia Jax and Lash Legend, known as the Irresistible Forces, defended against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and originally it was supposed to have been both Nikki and Brie Bella, the Hall of Famers. However, Nikki Bella announced that she was not going to be able to compete because she had surgery literally just a couple weeks ago in Birmingham, Alabama. And who was in Birmingham? Well, you guessed it, none other than Paige. Arguably one of the most influential women in professional wrestling. Like, this woman, at the age of 21, at the age of 21, became the youngest Divas champion of all time, and she ultimately became arguably one of the youngest world champions in women's wrestling today, and that right there is just a feat on its own. But we never expected Paige to come back to WWE, considering that it has been 8 years. It has been 8 years since we saw Paige show up to WWE TV, and I just find it a little weird because the last we had ever heard of Paige, she was a part of this promotion called AEW. And again, just as a quick disclaimer, I do not watch AEW. It is only from what I have seen on social media. Apparently, she had been a part of AEW and had won their women's championship a couple of times in her career. So the fact that she made her return to WWE after several years, it was a bit awkward, but at the same time, it was kind of cathartic, if you will, because the last WrestleMania match that she had was in 2016 when she and Brie Bella were a part of Team Total Divas against Team Bad and Blonde, and I believe I called that match. I think I called that match, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That was actually one of the first PLEs that I ever called while writing the card down on a book. In fact, this book right here was one of the very first books I had ever gotten for this channel. And to show you guys, I'm not going to show you all of them, but it just has some of the matches of the cards that I've done over the years. And the last one for this book was actually NXT No Mercy in 2023. That was the last one, and so the fact that was her last WrestleMania match was wild. However, her last match in WWE overall came about at a live event right around 2018, like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, where Paige had re-injured her neck. And so after all that time, Paige returns. And the wild thing about this Fatal 4-Way was that it was going to. We knew that Nikki Bella was going to play a part in this matchup. We knew it, and she did. She played a huge part in this in the matchup. In the final moments of the match, where Nikki Bella attacked Charlotte Flair with her cane, which allowed Paige to hit Alexa Bliss with the Rampage to pick up the victory. And now Brie Bella and Paige, excuse me, are now the women's tag team champions, which buys into the big question: where does Nikki Bella lie? Where does her name go in this story, if you will? What role does she play in this story? Because we knew that Paige and the Bellas, they've had multiple battles over the Divas Championship numerous times in their careers. Obviously, when the Bellas and Alicia Fox were a part of Team Bella, and then of course Paige was a part of Team PCB alongside Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see how this story will play out. And I mean, who knows? Maybe tomorrow night on Raw, maybe they might drop the titles like what happened last year. Who knows? But speaking of Becky Lynch, she challenged AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental title, and this was I don't have the words to describe this matchup because we knew that Becky Lynch had beef with the referee of that matchup, who was obviously Jessica Carr, and she had a lot of beef with AJ Lee, not because of her performances in the ring, but it more so had to do with the fact that she left WWE for so many years, and now she finally decides to come back. And now what? And now what? Like she just instantly is the talk of the town, where Becky in her mind believes that she should be the talk of the town. This matchup from last night proved that Becky Lynch did indeed become the talk of the town, because in the final moments Becky Lynch exposed the top turnbuckle, hit AJ Lee with it, and then hit her with the manhandle slam to pick up the 1-2-3. And for the third time in her career, Becky Lynch is Intercontinental Champion, making her making her a 3-time champion with the most reigns overall, because no one has ever held that title more times than Becky Lynch. Not Lyra Valkyria, not even Maxine Dupree. So, as far as what will be next for Becky Lynch, only time will tell. As far as AJ Lee goes, I have a feeling that she's not done. I have a feeling that she is not done, and I think she'll be taking some time off away from the ring to figure out what will be next. Next up, we have a very strange matchup, I will say. Gunther versus Seth Rollins. I mean, don't get it twisted. This was an instant classic. We knew that Seth Rollins was going into this match excuse me, with a huge chip on his shoulder, especially with what has happened over the course of the year, dating back to last year's WrestleMania when he aligned himself with Paul Heyman, then ultimately aligned himself with Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Breaker kicking Seth out of the Vision, all of it. And again, we knew that this was going to be an instant classic, because this was a battle of two of the absolute best to lace a pair of boots, and it truly lived up to the hype. That was until the final moments. Braun Breaker made his impactful return after months away from an injury, hitting Rollins with a spear, allowing Gunther to make Seth Rollins pass out, not tap out, pass out to the sleeper, and Gunther walks away with a victory, breaking the Las Vegas jinx from last year's WrestleMania when he tapped out to his own sleeper against Jey Uso. I can honestly say that the rivalry between Seth Rollins and the Vision, it's far from done. I can honestly assume, my opinion is that we can all assume that with Backlash coming up in a few weeks, we could potentially see Breaker versus Rollins at Backlash, which is something that we all wanted to see at WrestleMania, but we never got to because of Breaker's injury. Next up, it was the women's world title match between Stephanie Valkyrie and Liv Morgan. If I'm being completely honest here, Liv Morgan ate that entrance. I'm just being real. She ate that entrance like it was nothing, and she even brought her new song "Trouble" as her new theme song, which I guess Michael Cole leaked it on Raw last week or something. But I will say that, excuse me, that this rivalry went personal real quick. This took a massive 180 as Stephanie Valkyrie and Liv Morgan, they brought up each other's families, each other's careers. it was all over the place. And in the final moments, we knew the Judgment Day was gonna get involved. Boy, did they ever! They got involved in the craziest way possible. Roxanne Perez distracting the referee, and also distracting the people on social media. If you know, you know. While Raquel Rodriguez attacked Stephanie Vaquer, Liv hits Vaquer with Oblivion. Vaquer kicks out. Then she hits Oblivion to Stephanie again, and is once again the women's world champion. I believe this is her second reign. I believe as women's world champion. I believe so. I believe this is her second reign as women's world champion, and all the members of the Judgment Day were celebrating as we saw Liv Morgan once again become WWE Women's World Champion. And I have a feeling that Stephanie Vaquer is not going to take that lightly. Maybe a rematch at Backlash? Who knows? Who knows? But that brings us to the main event. A match 20 years in the making between the Viper Randy Orton and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes for the WWE title, with Pat McAfee in the corner of Randy Orton, with high stakes on the side of Randy Orton, where if he won, he would become a 15-time world champion, bringing him to third place for most world title reigns in WWE. However, if Cody won, Pat McAfee would leave professional wrestling for good. And here's the crazy part. Pat McAfee had been with WWE on screen full time. Right? Full time on screen since the pandemic. But even prior to that, he was working the NXT kickoff shows alongside guys like Vic Joseph and of course Sam Roberts, having some beef with Adam Cole, baby. And from that point forward, Pat McAfee ultimately became a part of the WWE family. Ultimately the night after WrestleMania 37 in 2021, and from that point on, he essentially became a full-time commentator, teaming with Michael Cole. And it was because of Pat McAfee that Michael Cole has been able to be more open with his commentating of the matches that are on the card of Raw, the PLEs, etc. Not only has he been more open, but he's also been more energetic. And it was all because of Pat McAfee. But now McAfee essentially became an arrogant ass, buying into the delusion that Randy Orton was going to save professional wrestling, but it really didn't need to be saved. In a way, it didn't have to be saved, but in a way, it kind of did. Especially with the main event of WrestleMania Sunday, which we will get to that in a bit. But this one went deep. This was by far one of the most chaotic WWE title matches I had ever called in my career as a content creator. And we saw Randy Orton get busted up. We saw Cody Rhodes get busted up. We saw Pat McAfee get jumped by Cody Rhodes, being hit with crossroads, jelly roll, putting Pat McAfee through the announce table. And it ultimately became one-on-one after that. And this was back and forth. Again, Randy got busted open. Cody got busted open. The referee was down. And in the final minutes of the matchup, and in the final minutes of the match, Randy Orton hits Cody Rhodes with ultimately with an RKO. Pat McAfee comes right back in wearing a neck brace, counts the pin, and Cody kicks out. Randy Orton then hits Pat McAfee with an RKO, which Cody Rhodes hit Randy with a crossroads and retains the WWE title. But it did not come without a price, because Randy Orton hit Cody Rhodes with the title, and then hit him with the signature punt, which we have not seen Randy Orton use the punt in years. In fact, it's actually been how long has it been? I think it's been since 2021, around 2020, 2021. Yeah, so it's been about 5-6 years since Randy Orton last used the punt, and he used it on Keith Lee at that time. So obviously now Pat McAfee officially done with professional wrestling. I don't know if WWE will bring him back in the future. I'm not sure if that's even possible, but obviously in the world of professional wrestling is the old adage, never say never. And we found out that Cody Rhodes is not cleared to compete again, so we don't know how long he'll be out for. But I can assume that Randy Orton could very well get fined for his actions from last night. Well, we moved from last night to tonight. Oh my god. So if you guys thought that last night was crazy, tonight was just as. And night 2 kicked off with some big meaty men slapping meat, or as I like to call it, the Big E special, as Obafemi did battle with Brock Lesnar. Man, enough said. Just hearing that match, hearing the match being announced. Enough said. They started out with a collar and elbow tie-up a couple of times, and it went from that to a straight-up brawl. But it only lasted a few minutes, because Obafemi, with the shock of the decade, hits Brock Lesnar with the fall from grace powerbomb. Yeah, Obafemi defeated Brock Lesnar with the fall from grace powerbomb, making him the new next big thing in WWE. But what we saw after that shocked the world. Brock Lesnar took his gloves off, took his boots off, embraced Paul Heyman, and rode off into the sunset as if he was going to retire. The question is Brock Lesnar truly going to retire? Well, I'm sure the breaking news will take place either tomorrow night on Raw or during the Sunday post show, which I will watch as soon as this video gets posted. But if this truly is the end of Brock Lesnar, then what I want to do is I want to do a top 10 of Brock Lesnar's biggest achievements, because we all know that Brock Lesnar truly was indeed one of the greatest of all time. Like, there's no denying it. I mean the guy's a 10-time world champion. He's a former IWGP champion, a former UFC champion and an NCAA Division I champion. The guy's done it all. He did everything that he set out to do, and he's one of the only guys in WWE that has won multiple world titles, but never won any mid-card titles in the first at all, which is crazy. But again, if this really is the end of the beast, thank you, Brock Lesnar. Be sure to post in the comments below your all-time favorite Brock Lesnar moment. I'm very curious of what you guys have to say. But next up is the ladder match for the Intercontinental title as Penta defended against JD McDonough, Rusev, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, and WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. I mean, let's be real. When it comes to ladder matches, you know there's going to be chaos, ladders being broken, bodies being broken. I don't have to say anything else. I don't have to say anything else about that except reveal the final moments. Penta climbs the ladder and retains the Intercontinental title. Some of the big highlights from that match included Rey Mysterio hitting a West Coast pop to Rusev through the ladder, literally bending the ladder in half. Excuse me. We saw Penta hit a Mexican destroyer onto who was it, JD? It was either JD or Rusev, from the top of the ladder through another ladder that was connected to the turnbuckle and the setup ladder. This was all over the place. But congratulations to Penta on retaining the Intercontinental title, proving that he is indeed the man. Cero Miedo. Shoutouts to him. Next up, speaking of mid-card titles, the United States title got defended as Sami Zayn defended against Trick Williams with multi-time platinum recording rap artist the Lil Yachty in the corner of the Anointed One. Let's be real. Let's be real. Sami Zayn was coming in with a big chip on his shoulder. It just wasn't enough. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of Sami Zayn. I'm proud of the accomplishments that he has made throughout his career, including becoming an NXT champion, main eventing WrestleMania. Breaking Gunther's reign as Intercontinental Champion of 666 days. The guy's done it all, right? Like he's done everything that he set out to do. But I think what caused Sami Zayn to lose the title to Trick Williams was his arrogance. It was his arrogance and his determination to take Little Yachty out of the equation, and that ultimately became his downfall as Trick Williams hit Sami Zayn with the trick shot to become the new United States champion, proving that Trick Williams is here to stay. So congratulations to Trick Williams. Dominic Mysterio brought it upon himself. He brought it upon himself, and he had to face the demon. Dominic Mysterio was the one that took Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day, and Finn Balor made Dominic pay. In a street fight, enough said, Finn Balor wins. Like, the demon hit Dominic Mysterio with the coup de grace through the table and picked up the victory. I think with Dominic Mysterio now in the rear view mirror of the Prince, now the question becomes, where does Finn Balor go from here? What's next for Finn Balor? Maybe go after the world title? Maybe go after the Intercontinental title? The possibilities are out there. But I have a feeling that Dominic Mysterio is probably going to go on Raw tomorrow and be like, oh, this was a fluke. I shouldn't have fought the demon. Finn, get over here so I can kick your ass. He's probably going to spew a bunch of bullshit like that. But a dub for Finn Balor nonetheless. That brings us to the WWE Women's title. And man, we knew it was going to happen. We knew Meechin and B-Fab were going to get involved. And boy, did they ever. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's title. Most of the match, it was literally, it was pretty much back and forth, right? Like, it was power over power, speed over speed, and this was back and forth. And it was in the final moments that made things a little interesting because we did see Michin distract the referee. BFAB attacked Rhea, and it wasn't enough. It was not enough. But in the final moments, we saw Io Sky show up to WrestleMania and helped Rhea Ripley in any way that she could, hitting both BFAB and Michin with a couple of Shote uppercuts and an outside moonsault to both ladies. However, in the final moments, Jade Cargill attempted to hit Rhea with Jaded, and it backfired into a Riptide, and now Rhea Ripley is the WWE Women's Champion, making her damn near an Ultimate Grand Slam champion. All she has to do now is go after the Women's US title and the Women's Intercontinental title, and she will have made history as being the only woman in history to hold every women's championship that WWE has to offer right now. Because Rhea Ripley right now is the only woman to have ever held the NXT UK Women's title, the NXT Women's title, the Raw Women's title, the Women's Tag Team titles, the SmackDown Women's title, the Women's World title, and now the WWE Women's title. All she has left are just 2 titles. And those would be the Women's IC title and the Women's US title. I think it's only a matter of time before we see her go after those 2 titles, seeing her make history. But if you want to talk about history, this was an instant classic. These 2 men laid it out in the ring. CM Punk, Roman Reigns. This match went the fucking distance. CM Punk always knew how to play mind games with his opponents, and man did he ever. This was a fucking war. This was a war to end all wars. Near fall after near fall, GTSs, spears, Superman punches, and the referee allowed Roman Reigns to hit CM Punk with literally with the steel steps, which is insane. I'm not gonna say anything else because there were just too many highlights to call, too many highlights to bring up here in this video, but it was in the final moments that made everything worth it. CM Punk hit his first hit a GTS onto Roman, then attempted a second GTS, but collapsed from exhaustion. A spear by Reigns to CM Punk, and for the first time in 2 years, Roman Reigns is a world champion. However, Roman Reigns is the only person in WWE to hold the WWE title, the Universal title, the Undisputed title, and the World Heavyweight title. No one in WWE history has ever done that but Roman Reigns. And Roman even said it best in an interview with Michael Cole that if he lost to Punk, he could potentially leave WWE. I don't think he's gonna be leaving anytime soon. But as far as what will be next, well, the Raw after WrestleMania is gonna be full of surprises. We'll have to wait and see. But we do also want to send a huge congrats to Bianca Belair, as last night she made her return, announcing her pregnancy. So congratulations to both Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. Shoutouts to them both. And I think it's safe to say that when Bianca Belair returns, she's going to become stronger than ever before, and she'll be going after Jade Cargill. I think that's what's going to end up happening, but we will have to wait and see. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.